Hi everyone, this is Khalil. I'm going to be giving you a tour of the teen space in the Carver branch of the Austin Public Library. Here is a shot of the front of the building. Before we begin, I wanted to give you a sense of the layout of the library and where the youth and teen space is located. The library staff was really adamant that I not record or take photographs of any of the patrons, whether or not they were children. So I put together a little map or layout of the library. We're going to be beginning from the red star on the right hand side. As you can see, the teen space or youth space is located in the back of the library. This is a shot of that front space when you first walk in and make a right that I was able to find online. Beginning from that red star in the back, we're going to walk down this short flight of stairs into the teen and youth space. And I want to draw attention specifically to these signs that are posted both on the wall here and on the tables that designate this a teen space. It says seating in this area is reserved for young people 17 and under and their guardians. Panning back over to the seating area out here, I want to take a second to discuss this seating area. The youth services librarians that work here have designated this space as a shared or collective activities or learning area. Now there's no wall separating this space or the entire teen space from the rest of the library. So there does seem to be an unspoken disagreement over how loud the youth can get here. The rest of the staff seem to, and even some of the other patrons seem to object to how loud the youth can get, whereas the youth services librarians are a bit more forgiving and a bit more willing to put up with louder decibel levels. From the seating area, we're going to move over into the teen computer lab, noting the signage on the door that designates this use for young people ages 10 to 17 only. Stepping into the computer lab, you can see that there are computers lined along the walls and laptops at the individual seats. I want to pay specific attention here to the back of the computer lab where you can see there's a little interactive wall. They have pushpin poetry where the youth can come and make poetry, and she has a weekly, or the youth services librarian has a weekly caption contest where she brings in, puts up a photo, and the youth can compete by coming up with a funny or witty caption. She chooses the winner, and then they're awarded with a very small prize. As you can see, this place is really pressed for space. The bottom part, a lot of the materials are stacked up there. Moving back out of the computer lab, there's a short shot of the stacks that we're going to get to in a moment, and we're going to be passing up the collaborative or collective learning space or activity space. Now on the right hand side here, we'll give you a brief shot of that. There are the posters of the different activities and some of the different resources that the library and some of the other neighborhood organizations offer. As you can see, there's story time, there's a poster for their Lego lab, there's a poster for an after school program at a separate facilities, and there's also more. Before we move on, I want to draw everyone's attention here to the room that's up ahead. Now we're going to make a left here, and so there's going to be a series of these rooms on the right hand side. These are private tutoring rooms for students. It's important to mention that the Carver Library is right around the corner from a middle school, and so there are a lot of teens who come here. It's also important to note that these rooms are managed by a separate organization. The library staff do not have keys to these rooms, and they're locked when they're not in use. So they're not really for public use. It's only when that specific organization comes in and provides tutoring for any of the students who sign up. Moving on, there's more seating back here, and I want to take a minute to talk about this seating. The remaining seating that we're going to see around this corner, the youth services librarians try to reserve for individual quiet study. There's not really going to be a whole lot left, but you see that the youth services librarians are really doing the best that they can with the limited amount of space that they have. Turning the corner here, you're going to see an automated checkout system as well as some more individual seating or seating for individual study and more of those tutoring spaces that I mentioned. So panning over, we're going to be approaching the end soon. Here are the stacks. So the first couple are going to be for young adult, that's grades 8 through 12. And now we're going to be moving into what they call J Fiction, which is grades 3 through 8. And there, of course, is a teen-specific magazine stand. So everything after this is the children's space, as you can see by some of the stuffed animals. You're going to see shorter bookshelves, shorter chairs. And it's important to note that there's no real clear demarcation between the children's area and the teens area, but some of the size of the tables and other visual cues make it distinguishable. And we're just going to pan back around so you can see more of the tutoring rooms and the same space we just walked through from another angle. And that more or less is the team space. So as we saw, there's really a limited amount of space that both the teens and the youth services librarians are working with. There are some distinctions that divide the children's area from the youth area, but they're pressed for space. Aside from the poetry pushpin wall and the caption contest they have every week, there's not much here. There's not much in this space that the teens get to interact with and shape to make their own. Although the youth services librarians are really doing the best they can with the space they have to develop areas that serve distinct user needs. We have the collaborative space, we have some of the individual space, and then we have the computer lab, and I'll say from experience that the computer lab gets the loudest, and it's really actually a good thing that it's enclosed in its own area, sort of dampening the sound so it doesn't affect any of the users in the other parts of the library. And that's a teen space here at the Carver Library. Thanks for coming to check it out.